In time, I call the member for Upper Hunter.
Thank you, Mr. Temporary Speaker. I stand to make a contribution to this particular debate, and I'm pleased to support the Motor Accident Injuries Amendment Bill 2017. Under the proposed changes to the CTP scheme before us, the cost of New South Wales, of the green slip insurance rather, will drop for all registered motor vehicles in New South Wales on our roads and in all parts of New South Wales. It is estimated that the statewide average annual price of a green slip premium will be reduced by at least $120. But what does this specifically mean for a vehicle owner in the Newcastle and Central Coast regions? Newcastle obviously being the, if you like, the capital of the Hunter region, where I represent in the Upper Hunter, and Mr. Temporary Speaker, you're obviously well versed on the Central Coast yourself, probably being the best member that they've ever had in your particular seat. With the passage of this bill, the average green slip premium for a passenger vehicle located in the Newcastle region would drop from the current average of $467 rate to a low $371 premium. Now, this will deliver a very welcome saving of $96 on average to Newcastle and Central Coast vehicle owners, and it will also mean that the cost of the current green slip premium they pay would be reduced by 21%. In my own seat of Upper Hunter, I went onto the website here about 15 minutes ago and had a bit of a look at the calculation, and it shows that for a 20-year-old in Muswellbrook, in the centre of my geographic centre of my electorate, driving a 2010 passenger vehicle would have a $41 saving under these CTP reforms, which is going to be very welcome. And in fact, I did some calculations at various age groups, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60-year-olds. Everyone has a range of savings under these reforms on their CTP. Mr. Temporary Speaker, the green slip premiums for the Newcastle region are generally priced lower than the higher premiums set for the Sydney metropolitan and outer metropolitan areas, and this will continue under this bill. And you can be assured that Newcastle region motorists will not miss out on the key benefits of the new scheme, as constituents in my electorate of Upper Hunter will benefit as well. Besides the significant savings for the vast majority of vehicle owners across the state, the bill will improve the support available for people injured in motor accidents on our roads, and increase certainty around claims, compensation entitlements and timeframes, and provide a fairer, more efficient scheme for all. One of the major scheme improvements is to increase the percentage of the CTP premiums that actually goes to the persons injured. And with less than half of every green slip premium dollar currently being returned to the injured road users in benefits, the redesigned scheme under the bill will improve the reach and value of the green slip premium. Mr. Temporary Speaker, as a former financial planner and also owner of an insurance brokerage, I saw for many, many years the continued increased premiums that were subjected to motorists over many, many years, and in fact, and I'm not taking away anything from the profits that have been limited, if you like, under this bill to insurance companies, but it's probably fair to say that in my experience the law industry has a lot to do with the increase in insurance premiums right across the board, as much as insurance companies do as well. With the new scheme, Mr. Temporary Speaker, aims to return 57 cents of every green slip dollar to those injured as benefits, of which 65% will be paid to those with more serious injuries. The bill introduces a new hybrid CTP scheme that provides fault and no fault defined benefits for injured road users, whilst also retaining the right to modified common law damages for more serious injuries. The focus moves towards ensuring better health outcomes, early intervention and rehabilitation, and recovery for the injured, and providing immediate defined benefits for medical treatment, care and support post-accident, and this will simplify, speed up and improve both the recovery and the claims process. Mr. Temporary Speaker, I had my own incident last Saturday where I had a car accident myself. I was not at fault, and thankfully no one was injured. There was a young girl who had a temporary lapse of concentration, and while I was stationary in a line of traffic, she unfortunately didn't stop until she reached the back of my car. It was a bit like someone walks in with a black eye and says, "You should have seen the other fella." My car was actually not too bad, but unfortunately the young girl couldn't drive her own car, and it was a mess. Having said that, the most important thing was no one was injured, but it also reminded me of the importance of ensuring that this particular government gets this reform through for the CTP, because under the new reforms, even though that young girl was at fault, she would now, under the new reforms, be covered for some level of income support for 6 months, and as I mentioned before, to be able to get treatment and support post-accident for a period of up to 6 months is an important thing. Thankfully, no one was hurt. But once these reforms were in, if that young girl or any other young person or any person was to have a similar accident and, a momentary lapse of concentration, this particular reform would have protected that person and anyone else in the future. The entitlement to defined benefits for minor injuries, Mr. Temporary Speaker, will also ensure that the injured person receives better support sooner and when they need it. With statutory benefits, there will be no need to conduct investigations to establish fault, wait to finalise a lump sum payment, or engage legal representation for minor injury claims, and less likelihood of fraudulent and exaggerated claims that add to claim costs and premium increases. And I think, Mr. Temporary Speaker, all of us in the Parliament and outside the Parliament could point to many anecdotal pieces of evidence where fraudulent claims seem to be rife, and that also has a huge impact on the rise of the premiums over many years for the CTP. The reforms set out in this particular bill will reduce the overall scheme costs, including the insurer profits and expenses, importantly the legal fees and administration costs, and reduce the time taken to resolve a claim. Redesigning the CTP scheme to incorporate no-fault defined benefits for minor injuries while retaining access to common law benefits for more severe injuries will reduce uncertainty for insurers and estimating the cost of claims and the timeframes involved. Now, this will permit the CTP insurers to more accurately assess and price the risks, estimate claims costs, and factor in a reasonable profit margin. The reform changes will mean that the cost of premiums and any potential increases in the future can be better monitored and contained, and the result will be fair, reasonable and affordable premium pricing for green slip insurance for the motorists of the Newcastle and Central Coast regions, and importantly for the electorate that I represent of the people of Upper Hunter. Again, I gave examples where under these reforms the costs of premiums will reduce for every age bracket that I did my calculations on, and this is going to be a welcome reform to my constituents, the constituents of the Newcastle region and indeed the Central Coast region, and I commend this bill to the House.
I'd like to thank the member for the Upper Hunter.